Hi everyone, I'm Tina. This is To the Interweb. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Okay, today I've been holding off on reading this rock that I found out over yonder at the beach a few weeks ago. And when I found it, it was turned up like that with a sheath of water just kind of half submerged in it, almost like when you're laying in the bath. And like, you know, with your ears covered. So anyway, I picked it up because it looked like a person. So by the way, this is going to be an energy read, obviously. I picked it up because it was made like a fairy stone. So I think fairy stones are only found in certain areas. I don't think it's part of where I'm around, so I can't quite call it a fairy stone, but anyway, it's found in the coastal regions, obviously. After I held on to it, I think like the next day or two, I realized that it looked like something else. I was really excited to read it, and here we are today. Today is Friday, the 28th, I believe. Yeah, February. Oh my gosh, it's the last day of February. Just kidding. I think after February, that's when everything starts going like really fast. And this was before I started the whole spirituality thing, so I'm curious to see how much faster it's going to go. You know, when we talk about timelines, especially with, you know, psychics, it can get really, especially newbies to it. I'm speaking from experience, okay? It can get really always on edge, yeah? And things don't seem to feel like they're going fast enough. Well, at least me, because I'm kind of impatient. No, I'm just impatient. But I'm kind of impatient now because I'm growing into that virtue. So, anyway, I sprayed the whole holy water thing. And let's go ahead and invite the angels, our higher selves, spirit, and our ancestors, yeah? What do we want to say about this? First, about the timeline, yeah. When we get these prospective dates, like, oh, it'll happen from a year from now, that's when things are going to be awesome. Or, you know, 3 to 6 months from now. And it seems like such a long time, but it really isn't. When you think about it, how fast you move to adapting to things or accepting it before you adapt, well, that's a whole nother month or two. Adjusting everything. So, and it's not like the only thing that has to adjust. There's usually simultaneous things that happen. And anyway, let's go ahead and read into this. Alright, so let's start, okay? When I first picked this up, it looked like a person. You see the arm right here, the head right here. I don't know what I really thought. I just wanted to pick it up because it looked more like human than most fairy stones. I don't know what position this person is in. But you're up and at 'em, okay? This is an energy read for the time that you receive it, so you might feel quaint with the energy, and if everything seems to match, then I would say that the only things that don't resonate may be items of suggestion to help you problem solve, to become in more alignment, because those are the missing pieces that are meant to meld together with your main core energy. Now, if you don't like it, of course you can go ahead and change things up. That's totally up to you, because you're in the driver's seat. So what I see here is like a cog and a hand turning it. Oh my gosh, do you see how they're clouds? That reminds me of Ace of any suit that's presented to us, given by the divine. It's presented with this cloud-like image, and that's what I'm seeing here. I think we're getting help from the divine or spirit guides in getting back into motion. You see, they're twisting that, almost like winding us up, giving us a new surge of energy. That's really cool. In fact, if you lay it out like that, you'll see it's almost like the Ace of Pentacles, but it's held on. Like, you're not ready yet. When you're laying down, you're not ready for it. The divine is not going to present you something that you're not ready for. If you have put in X amount of work and you're within that Three of Wands energy where you're just kind of waiting for your ships to come in, but it's almost feeling like the Seven of Pentacles where you're really just waiting. Well, that's kind of like the Four of Cups energy too. Feeling deflated. Hence, you're still laying down, face down. Do you see that? So they're holding on to Ace of Pentacles and they're kind of winding you up. Like, it's time to ascend. Okay, so you're getting up, you're getting the picture, and it's ready to be released. So now this transforms into something that's like they're winding you up for it. And that's what I'm feeling right now. In effect, you can't stay down because that's not just defeat, that's self-defeating, that's self-deprecating to your divinity, to your potential. So, and that's what your higher self is saying, our higher selves are saying. So we're being wound up to get into motion. Now the other side to it also is what I quickly saw when it was turned this way is you can tell what I'm seeing, right? You know exactly what I'm seeing here. It's a turtle. It's a turtle that was on its back. A turtle can't move when it's on its back. It's just immobile. It's helpless. It needs help. Okay, this is not the whole damsel in distress thing. This is like, hey, I need an extra hand. Will anybody help me? And so, yeah, like part of that is getting yourself up, getting the initiative, the drive to, start it. But the whole thing with a turtle on its back is people need to see that you're trying, that you're kind of waving your legs, like flailing, that you're not stuck in your shell like you gave up, yeah? That you haven't retreated, ultimately. So that's what I'm saying. You need to at least make the effort, at least call for help. It can be really hard to do that when you don't know how to ask for help. Like, for a long time, I didn't know how to ask for people to subscribe to my channel. I didn't know how to ask for a like. It felt so... You guys know that when you're viewing something, you don't have to be self-instructed. It didn't feel right to me. Like, people know. I just felt like in doing that, I became more cookie cutter to the prompts that you dismiss. Like, oh, yada, 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 right? And that's not really what I wanted to integrate into anything that I produce. But I think it's also, Spirit is asking me to find ways to get over that fear, that roadblock that it seems like everybody else can do and everybody else gets. And it just doesn't seem like a secret formula to me. There's no special sauce and any ingredient in that. So anyway, long story short, please subscribe to my channel so I can finally hit 100. I mean, this is so unheard of that I have a quarter of that after like 10 months of continuously working at something. And the other side to it is that it builds 11:44 on the clock, is that it builds resilience. That I don't need to look to others for approval, but the whole thing is that if you want to extend your reach, you need to be able to compromise a little. So, and at the same time, I don't want to use that as a crutch to stay within my comfort zone and excuse the lack of effort and asking. Yeah? Okay. So, we'll get back to this. So that's all about the whole flailing of little arms, little limbs from the shell and keeping your head out, right? When it's already an upright, there's a little bit of imbalance here. It does matter when you're on land because the head is so extended outwards that it creates imbalance. The weight is not distributed as well. So maybe we are overreaching in our search, and some of the answers really need to be found within, kind of just natural, organically, yeah, within our own realm. And we can get as much information through the observation of staying still, not so much in hermit mode and not so much within the Eight of Swords immobility, but just What's scoping out the area? Maybe like the Two of Wands? Yeah, that's a calm contemplation. Ooh, look, it's 1:11 on the clock. It just turned 1:12 now. When you see this, the divine is helping us put our right foot forward. You see, that's the only one that's really protruding. It's the cog, yeah? And it's the right foot. The first foot forward is the right foot. And that's what the divine is helping us with. So we should thank them. That's the whole idea of the gratitude list. It is a manifestation of prayer, especially when you speak it. And I think that's partly what I'm trying to be more conscious of when I'm doing divination, is conveying to you what's really going on. I want to convey the truth, but I want you to make sure that you are in the driver's seat and that you are more aware of where your thoughts roam, because I've dismissed a lot of things, but I didn't realize when I first started and listening to other readers that I didn't realize how strong I was with manifestation, especially with where I was going in life. The decisions I was making they've become more firm, and I created disciplines in certain areas that strengthened me. There's this whole thing marketed towards males. In the feminine aspect, it's more like the whole celibacy thing, that it strengthens you, your powers. I think people who practice in their craft of witchery, covens know this, that sometimes that's the whole point of really detoxing other energies from your auric fields. Now, I may be oversimplifying it, but I think that will help you do more research on your own with regards to that. Yeah? Okay. So I'm looking at this, and the imbalance, the search outwards is okay once he is in water or she is in water swimming. It looks like they're already ready to swim. The left arm is out, paddling out, and the feet are also protruding outwards, relaxed. So this one wants to go in the water. It wants to explore, yeah? And the shell has flattened out. Do you see that? There's been an adaptation in this ascending process, that we're no longer retreating. We're no longer as afraid. If we are going to retreat, there's just enough room to shelter ourselves temporarily, but it's not comfortable to stay housed completely within. So this is all about efficiency. 1717 on the clock. Yeah, this is all about efficiency, creating more weightlessness as we move on. And you see, there's also, like, he's wearing a hat. It's like a beret, or like a what is it? Like a gentleman's hat, like a golf hat. Like it reminds me of, you know, the hats that guys wear when they have a cigar. Kind of like that, yeah? Do you see what I'm talking about? It's a cool turtle, okay? And this one knows that it's headed for dangerous territory because it doesn't need to retreat, you see? It doesn't need to retreat into its shell. It's very small, the concave area of it. So this is an adaptation to basically have like a hard hat, a shell around his head or her head, so that as he moves along, treading dangerous territory, he's not going to get hurt. She is already protected. We are already protected.
This also means we don't let anything or anyone rush our decisions. We take the time we need to consider our options, each angle, the benefits and consequences. We internalize the SWOT analysis.
Yeah, because you've transformed so much, there's an alert signal. You see this? It's like a big fat exclamation mark, yeah? For others. You know that, like with caterpillars, they have visual signals that indicate that they're a threat to its predators. So that's basically the same kind of signal that people are seeing, that you have transformed and that you're not dealing with BS. You're not dealing with anybody else's BS because you've dealt with your own BS, yeah? It does help with a detox process and what goes and what stays. I see the letter B, like a lowercase b.
This could also be viewed as a musical note. It might just take one sound for you to hear others, or a signifier that you generally choose to live life harmoniously. Or your lesser known tracks are more reserved on side B, meaning the private side of you is kept low key, or simply that you resonate well with music. And it's a big part of your life, like it is for me.
There's something else to it. I know that there is. Oh, and because of that, it also looks like a peacock feather, one of the eyes of the peacock feathers. There's a certain display of confidence that you have. As you swim along, you see how this arm points to here, that this is more projected. As you swim along, your confidence is more projected, more pronounced. 21:12 on the clock. Spirit is always with you, holding you up. You see this blanket of clouds underneath? It might feel like a wet blanket when you're swimming along, but it's something that helped you get started in the first place and is always holding you up. We all have those days. I also see a caterpillar. You see how it's curled inwards? So this is a growth process. Where we're starting, it may feel like something completely brand new that we have transformed ultimately, but we've just started our journey. This is only the beginning. So, although that may seem scary, what do I want to say about that?
We might have a hard time putting words to our current state. This is normal, for a caterpillar emerging from a cocoon is learning a new world. Just as a newborn or infant is taking in his or her surroundings, we are also beginning to form our own context before placing words to it. Before placing words to our new existence.
It's okay. Just hold on tight. That's really what it is. I remember helping a caterpillar up. I was very intrigued. I was caterpillar watching at the beach, and it was having such a hard time climbing up this hill because it was grainy. So it got up to a certain point and then it would fall back down. It would roll all the way back down. After a little while, I decided to help it up. I didn't want to completely do its work for it. I realized that it wasn't in dire straits, okay? So there was no real need for me to help it, because as I did, it fell back down even further. So it needed to figure out through the terrain how to navigate through on its own, a safer way to do that. When I backed off, I saw that it kept struggling, and I thought, oh, okay, this is pretty much like how the divine works, yeah? Instead of giving it a leg up, and I saw that it kept trying, and it just got exhausted. It was moving almost parallel instead of perpendicular to its destination point, which is basically to latch on to some shrubbery. When I left it alone, once I saw that it fell back down farther than when it started, I decided, okay, well, this is a sign. This is the turtle on its back, basically. So I led it to a branch, and it just curled on tight. So that's what it reminded me of. Yeah, to safety. Yeah, that reminds me, don't take your help for granted. This includes from people who seemingly don't have your best interest in mind. They might be going through something very difficult, and although you can't let them walk all over you, just have patience. Yeah, I feel like one side has atrophied because it's been inside so long. It's the right arm. The left arm is at the intuitive side. The yin side. And so that one's more pronounced. It's gaining traction, but the right one, it's almost like it had a chip on its shoulder because of having to retreat so much. The action side has been stunted. Yeah, it's just going to take a matter of time to continue practicing, because there's no chip on it. It's more like we just need to gain traction through practice. Yeah, because you can see that his or her cheek has been turned to this side. I don't want to even look that way. I know what's there. I'm leaving it. I'm moving on to this side, all right? So there's a certain amount of annoyance that we're carrying, and that's the caterpillar stage of growing appreciation of all that is part of the process. You can see that on this hat, there's almost like this tassel, right? It's almost like graduating. I feel like that, yeah. I don't know, when you graduate, is it left to right or right to left? I think it's left to right. Okay, so we're still being schooled right now in this walk of life, but that's okay. Wherever we're leaving behind is for the best, yeah? It stunted our growth, our action side. Yeah. Is there anything else from this?
We may be asking the same questions before completely leaving something behind. We do this to gain proper closure.
Yeah, we're becoming more woke. You see the eyes? How one is like, whoa. One is more alert than the other. What else? Yeah. About everything being part of the process, even the unpleasant parts, that we're all learning from each other. That's why we're still all being schooled. We haven't quite aced things yet. We're B-rated, as you can see with the B.
B-rated is still good because those are the movies that are usually independent films that have their own cult following. They're timeless classics because their context is authentic. This is the main reason why their artistry is well respected.
There's also a shadow part of our sides. You see how it's almost like the Ace of Pentacles, but it's darkness lingering on this shell that we want to retreat. So shadows that are wanting to kind of lure us back into our shells sometimes. Like, hey, you always have this crutch, yeah? You see that alert also? So that's a word of caution. That there's shadows not lingering beneath us, but like overhead, a dark cloud sometimes. What might seem like a blessing is also a curse, depending on how you approach your shelter, your safe spot. A lady celebrating, you see, like this is almost like one of those can dances, because her arm is here and her face is to the clouds with her hair off to the side, her other hand reaching over, her leg sticking out of this dress. It's dance. It has to do with celebrating. But her leg looks cut off. Oh, yeah. Spirit wants us to find ways to celebrate ourselves, regardless of how we look to the outside world. That even if one limb is severed, that we're not going to let that stop us from enjoying life, celebrating ourselves. That's what it is. Chin up, yeah? Yeah.
As a reminder, this logic may take a while to digest. While this was filmed almost 2 months ago, I'm just barely taking in the value of it. It wasn't until I made this video below that helped me do just that. Before it, I clicked on countless buttons trying to find the answer and decipher what it was about me that was so unlikable. Ironically, so much inaction from action. I can smile about it now, how silly it was, because I went about it all wrong. I modeled my world according to the human condition, rather than making sense of it for myself. So I just focus not just on the reasons why I'm likable, but more importantly, why I love myself. No one has the legitimacy to argue with it. Therefore, no one can mar my perspective.
There's a parrot here. There's something else coming through. It reminds me of Gonzo. Okay. So I see a parrot, but it's morphed into like this elephant seal. You see? This is the eye, there's the parrot's face, and then there's a beak right there. But there's something pronounced from here. So it could be either a peacock, more pronounced with the feathering on the top, or it could be the dark side, which is you speak against others, like you talk to, like this is a gossip mouth. You see, it's morphed you. So that's the pronunciation of talking too much about something that really morphs you into almost like a different species, like an elephant seal. Those are very aggressive, by the way. Yes, they are. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. There's a difference. We have the choice in how we want to project our energy. I think that's it. 33:43 on the clock. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you liked, oh, you know what? Please hit the like button and subscribe. Help me out if you can. In the meantime, thanks for the energy exchange and allowing me to read for you. Obviously, we share similar energies. This is for the collective of those that are watching. I think that's it. Let me know what you think, and if you like these and want more of these kind of videos so that I can isolate my focus towards those that support me. Alright, well, hope to see you again the next time. In the meantime, congratulations on getting this far, getting up and at 'em. Yeah? Bye.